What's going on, guys? Redneck Food Blog coming to you with a pork shoulder. How did I do it? How did I feed 80 to 100 people? Well, let's get in the footage. You'll see here we started with about 40 pounds of pork. Pork butt is boneless. Bought it at Costco. It's really hard to buy pork right now. It's like $2.99, $2.49 a pound, not on sale. So it kind of sucks. And we did a combination of Morton salt, a barbecue rub out of Georgia, and meat church rub based with a little pecan. I just wanted to give these a little flavor. I was not really wanting to make my own rub. See here, I set up a table in my garage, covered it in butcher paper. What I'm doing here, I'm cutting it open. I'm just giving it let it breathe a little bit. Some of these meats, when they come in that cryovac sealing, they have that smell to it. So yeah, I'm gonna go in there, I'm gonna sniff a little bit. One thing you'll see here that I'm doing, wear black nitrile gloves. Those gloves are awesome. Tattoo artists wear them. Some people doing work on cars will wear them. It really does keep your hands protected. It keeps it from getting stuff in your wounds and your scrapes. So I really recommend black nitrile gloves. They are expensive. These are 5 mil in size. They are expensive, but they are totally worth it when it comes to doing rubs and food prep. And the best part is you just take them off, throw them away. They're such good quality, your hands are like bone dry after working with all this. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to cover these butts with some just kosher salt, sea salt. Either one will do. Pork butts are really hard to mess up. And these spices that I'm using, these rubs, they don't have salt as a primary ingredient. You'll see a lot of rubs you buy that have salt as number one. It's like a filler. I know Byron's butt rub, those things, tons of salt. Lots of complaints about them being salty. The ones I'm using, not very much salt in them at all. So I add the salt how I want to, and I do it first. Let it try to soak in. Then I'm going to put in a BBQ rub. It says BBQ rub. That's why I call it that. It sounds weird to say. I want to coat it liberally on each side. Again, it's really awesome to be able to use those black nitrile gloves and take one off. It's gunk free. Be able to use that. And then I'm turning over the butts and the shoulders, and I'm really getting in every crevasse I can. With this, and then I'm going to do the same thing with the pecan flavored rub from Meat Church. Meat Church is out of Texas. It's awesome hats for them. What's great about them is they're Texan and they're proud of it. This rub is called D's Nuts, and it's got a little squirrel on it holding some nuts. So take that for what you will. It gives it a little sweet taste to it. I like it on pork, not so much on, it works good on pork. I wouldn't put it on chicken necessarily, but yeah, if you've got chicken, use something else. Pork, this works really well, especially when you put something else a little spicier with it, which is what I was going for. All right, so I got all the butts, the shoulders rubbed down. I've laid out and they're on my butcher paper, which is on aluminum foil. So next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to put them in the fridge and kind of just let it sit in its own juices. So I'm going to put 2 in each ceramic pan, and I'm going to go stick it in the fridge. And after that, I'm going to clean up. And then the beauty, again, black nitrile gloves, having it out in your garage. This table is an old kitchen island from a neighbor's house that I cut in half. I put it on 2 collapsible sawhorses. Super easy, cheap as could be. And then I got butcher paper from a local restaurant supply store. So I use that just to cover the table and keep it somewhat sanitary, easier to clean afterwards. And you also notice I put foil down as well, just to make sure ease of use, ease of cleaning up was there. So I have done that, cleaned up, thrown everything away. I got some apple and oak, split the wood, cut it up into chunks, And now you'll see I'm here. I've got 2 grills, 2 smokers I'm using. I'm using this Primo extra large. I'm using Jealous Devil hardwood lump charcoal. The Jealous Devil is great if you want to grill things. Not the great. It's good if you want to smoke, but I think it gets really hot. It's a very hot lump charcoal. So what I'm doing here is I'm taking those chunks that I've cut up of oak and apple, and I got those from a friend of mine who's got some land out nearby. So again, cost was nothing. I split those, I cut them up into chunks like that. I try to mix it in with the rest of my my lump charcoal. I stirred it up, and then I've got this Primo. Mine came with a pizza stone, but it's really just a heat deflector. It's a ceramic plate. So I'm going to use that for my smoking to deflect the direct heat off the meat around, makes kind of like a convection, a smoking environment. Again, some people will say, oh, you shouldn't use wood in your ceramic grills, your ceramic cookers. Yeah, right, you use wood. Also, don't soak your wood. I'll comment about this later on in other videos, but you don't need to soak wood. There's a smoking meat has a form, a guy did some study where it came out with, like, if you soak wood, 3% gets in there in 24 hours. It doesn't make a difference. It just makes a little steam, not worth doing anything with. All right, so what I'm doing right now, I'm prepping my other drum. This is an ugly drum smoker. This is one of my babies. I love it. It was a $20 55-gallon food safe drum that I took. I cut 8 holes in the top, 1-inch diameter. I cut holes 2, 2, and 2 on the edges, so I could put in bolts and washers, so I could put racks on them. And then I did 3 holes, inch diameter holes on the bottoms, 1, 1, 1. Put some plumbing pipes in there, a ball lock valve, and some just caps, and that controls the airflow. And so I'm cleaning out. I've got this awesome charcoal basket that was welded for me. I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna put, this time, Kingsford briquettes in, and we're going to just dominate this thing with some Kingsford briquettes and that wood of apple and cherry and oak. I'm preparing this because we're having people over. I'm making fajitas in a couple hours, so I'm preparing this now, so when it's dark out, I don't have to do this. I can just light my little charcoal chimney with I use the Big Green Egg fire starters. Those things are awesome. I use those, and then I'm boom, done. The lights it in 10 minutes. Pour it on top of that. Put that basket back in there. Put the lid on. Let it come to heat. It is unbelievable. Really recommend, if you're going to do an ugly drum smoker, get yourself a charcoal basket that sits, the bottom, and then there's about 2-inch gap where there's a plate that's got some vents to it. You put your charcoal, everything on there, and it gives you nice airflow. It really just works great. You can see, got that basket, got that handle ready to go. So I'm ready to go. Let's see what else we got going on here. All right, so now it's nighttime. People have left. It's about 10:30. I've lit the charcoal basket, the little starter, that's going well. Put stuff in and let it heat up. After about 15 minutes, poured that little chimney into the basket. On the other side, I lit one of those Big Green Egg fire starters, put it in there. 5 minutes later, ready to go. Close the lid, open it up. When the temperature gets to about 190 on both of those, I'm turning it down, turning the airflow down. I want it to be around 240, 230 to 240 for this smoke. And what I've got is an Inkbird 4. It's a Bluetooth thermometer with four probes allowed. So I'll put the probes in on the grate. I'll set it right there. I've got an attachment that lets it sit about that far above the grate. And I'll do that in both, and I'll be able to monitor that throughout the night. I'll have alarms set for if it's too hot or too cold.
And I'll show you the thermometer, what that looks like, that graph will look like throughout the cook. I'll show that to you later, but you'll notice that it is like perfect. It comes off just fantastic, and just being able to regulate temperature. If you cut it off about 30 degrees before where you want to be, shutting down that air to very minimum intake. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm looking around going, oh man, I can't believe I got to do this at 10:30 at night. It's been a long day of cooking, a long day of prepping, with just other meals. Again, we're feeding 80 to 100 people the next afternoon, and so we're trying to get this done, giving it like 20 hours or 18 to 20 hours of time to cook 40 pounds of meat. So it's a big undertaking, but it really isn't that hard, especially when you see what I just did. I literally prepped stuff, threw it in the fridge, cut wood, cleaned out the stuff ready so that when it was time to light the charcoal, all I do is light the charcoal and you're done. It's really not a difficult thing to do, and the results are amazing. All right, so I put the butts on around 10:30, 11 o'clock. I let it go till about 7:30, and I opened it up just to see what I had. This is what I had. Is that not unbelievable? That's the three that were in that was the three that were in the Primo. The drum looked just as good, just a little darker, just really just beautiful. And for both of those, I put water pans underneath. They probably got cut out of that edit, but I put water pans underneath, just filled them up. Those aluminum pans you get at Costco, you spend like $7, you get 30 of them. That's the way to go. Don't buy 2 or 3 at a time. Go buy them in bulk, Amazon or Costco, totally the way to do it. And look here, you'll see the thermometer. This is what I'm talking about. It gives me this graph, and it lets me know. I'm just scrolling through it, showing you like there's the consistency of the cook. You can see that third line. I stuck a probe in one of the butts, and right there's the end point. When it hit 203, my alarm went off, ready to go. And here I am. This is how I'm going to take them. I'm going to put them in a cooler. I've got about 3 hours before it's time to eat, so I'm going to take it. I'm going to put it in the cooler and let it just kind of keep those juices nice and distributed. Look at those things. Those are unbelievable looking. And so what I'm going to do, I've got to be careful they don't just fall apart on me. I'm going to put it down. I'm going to roll it up, shove it in a cooler. That's literally all I'm doing is putting that, going from the Primo to a cutting board that I've got propped up, putting it back on there. Okay, that's what I'm doing. I'm an idiot. I'm wrapping them. I got them. They still got some time to go. That's what I meant to say. Boom, there you go. So I'm wrapping these before I go. This is Sunday. I'm going to church on Sunday morning. I'm wrapping these before I get ready to go for the morning. And I did this on both sides. Wrapped 6 of them. I've got a probe that is stuck in there, so I know that they're ready to go. These actually stalled for a few hours at 160. They were real stubborn. And so I was concerned because, again, this will be at probably about 8 o'clock in the morning. They've been on the smoker for 8 to 9 hours. Got a great color. They're not fall apart yet, but you got to be concerned. Okay, they've been in a stall for a while, and I'm going to be gone, so I have to adjust my fire. I have to plan what happens if the fire gets too hot. I had a neighbor nearby that knew what to do. Put the cap for the plum. Put the cap on for the Primo. Don't touch it. It's fine. I actually shut the Primo almost down, so it wouldn't have to worry about that. And I do the same thing with the ugly drum. Wrap, put it in, and you'll see the results are fantastic. I think that's where we're going next in our next part. We open up the foil. We see we've got a great bark. We've got a nice puddle of you see there on the top. You got a nice puddle of goodness, of taste. And what you're going to see is that there's going to be not just burnt ends and delicious crispy skin, but there's going to be smoke that just permeates through it. And that's what we're going for. We don't want a overly salty piece of pork that we just shred up and put sauce on. We smoke meat to taste the smokiness of the meat. If we wanted to taste the extreme seasonings, we wouldn't do this. We wouldn't put the effort in. We smoke the meat to taste the smoke, and that's exactly what you see. It's exactly what you taste when you eat this pulled pork. I took a few hours in the cooler, then an hour to pull it around 150 degrees, and we just served it right away. It got demolished. Again, we fed 80 to 100 people with this, 6 shoulders and butts. Super easy. Anyone can do it. If someone like a redneck like me can cook all that food on a $20 55-gallon barrel, if I can do it, you can too, and I'll show you how. Thanks for cooking with us. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, do all those things. Love to hear from you. Thanks, guys.